So what are the things that you should be careful about when buying a new driver? Hi guys, my name is Peter Finch and welcome down to Finch Weekly, your weekly look at everything to do with golf. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and make sure that you comment on everything discussed in today's video. Remember, this is all about the conversation, this is all about the community and learning from each other. And we're going to be covering a range of subjects yet again within this episode, but very much specifically looking at new drivers, the trends and the way that they are going, and what you should be careful about when you're buying these drivers. Now this is of course driver season and there's quite a few currently being released at this moment. So we had the M5 and the M6 which released last week, as well as the Epic Flash and the Epic Flash Sub-Zero, and we've also got the new Mizuno drivers which have come out. So the new Mizuno drivers which have been released, they are the ST190 and the ST190G, and I have to say they look really good. I like Mizuno drivers in general. I was using one for the most part of last year, and although it was great feeling and although I really liked the flight, it was quite flat, and certainly last year in the UK it was just so dry. The carry distance really didn't matter too much because it was running out a gazillion miles. Mizuno is saying with these new drivers they have managed to up the ball speed and they have managed to get a little bit more distance out of these golf clubs. And I haven't tested these clubs, but I am taking Mizuno's word for it in a way, because they've actually got a few tour players using their driver. Now this is something which never normally happens with Mizuno. Obviously they're famous for their irons, everyone pretty much loves them universally, and a lot of the players who aren't even within contracts with Mizuno do use Mizuno irons. You know, that's a sign of the quality of the club. However, with their driver, even the contracted players, they just won't use them until now. So Luke Donald is going to be going into one of these drivers, and according to a Golf Monthly article, Marcus Fraser, European Tour player, and Keith Mitchell, PGA Tour player, they're also going to be putting the ST190 into play. Now visually these drivers look fantastic. I'm really pleased that they've dropped that blue colour, because even though I quite liked it, it was off-putting for many people, and there's no doubt that this carbon crown and the black finish looks pretty sick. And the Epic Flash and the Epic Flash Sub-Zero, they have also been released, and as with most Callaway drivers, they look good, and it does seem that the marginal gains have been increased on club face speed. Now the whole story behind these drivers, Callaway says, is that they've got a supercomputer which is basically running loads of different algorithms, loads of different prototypes on a face design, and they came out with this new face, this like wavy, weird, slightly melted looking face when you look at it from the inside. And apparently this has completely redesigned the face and gives faster ball speeds. There have been tests done by this. I know Rick's test, I really enjoyed watching that one, and he did get slight increases in speeds. And this is something that has been seen this year actually. The new drivers that are coming out, so the M5, the M6 as well, they do seem to be adding that tiny bit more ball speed when coming off the face. Now because of the way the drivers are designed, these do seem to be very marginal gains. And it continues that trend of what we've seen over the last, well, 5 to 10 years, about that slow evolution in driver design. But with all these new drivers and the trend in the way that they are being designed, made and marketed, that is something that you do need to watch out for. Not in a negative way, but you just need to be on your guard. But before we delve into that, let's have a look at what is new in the world of social. So loads of posts this week across social media about the tour being in Hawaii. It looks absolutely amazing. This one definitely caught my eye though. So this was from Scratch's Instagram, and just check out this Marshall. Like he's doing an amazing job just calming down that grass and those bushes. Who knows? I'm guessing there's people either side. I'm guessing there is, unless someone's just sprinting up that bank. And discussed across social, and obviously this is just mainstream news as well, Padraig Harrington has been named the next European team captain, the Ryder Cup, that is. So he's going to be captaining the European team when it goes to Whistling Straits in 2020, and the fact is Harrington is pretty hard to overlook. I mean, he's an absolute legend of the Ryder Cup. He's a 3-time major winner, European Tour veteran. He's got everything going for him. He reminds me a little bit actually of the way he approaches the game and he analyzes the game. Very similar to Paul McGinley, so very analytical, very focused on the finest details. And if it works out anything like Paul McGinley's captaincy, then we should be in for another European victory at Whistling Straits. However, remember, Whistling Straits is going to be set up very, very differently than I imagine Le Golf National was. But we'll have to wait and see. I'm already excited about it. I love the Ryder Cup. I love the Ryder Cup. Hit like if you love the Ryder Cup. Now, one post that seemed to get a lot of people in a bit of a frenzy was Rick's post, so Rick Shields' post about having a YouTube charity golf day at some point in 2019. So I chatted to Rick very briefly about this, and this is something which a few people have suggested for a number of years now, but the actual organization and getting it sorted, that's going to be hard to do, and Rick is taking this upon himself. He's not asking for any help of anyone, so hopefully he can put together an amazing event. Guys, comment below, would you be interested in taking part in this? Would you be interested in coming to watch? You know, what do you think about some of the ideas that could be incorporated within this golf day? Rick might watch this video and read your comments, so I'm pretty sure he'd be happy with the feedback. And let's look back to drivers. So what do you need to be careful of? What do you need to be wary of when buying these new drivers? Because the trend towards ball speed, yes, is very, very important, but that is a combination of the driver club head and the golf ball as well. It's those two acting in combination. But there is a trend which I'm seeing quite a lot, and something of a trap that I think quite a few people are falling into, and I've got to kind of hold myself a little bit responsible for this as well, because I talk about it a lot, and that is how much spin that people generate on their driver versus how much they probably need and how much they launch the ball. Now, for optimum driver conditions, you need relatively low backspin, so the ball's not spinning up and actually losing distance. And then when it lands, it's going to bound on down the fairway. You need a big carry distance. Now, that's helped by hitting up on the ball and with a little loft. So you're hitting up on the ball, controlling the backspin, getting it to fly as far as possible, and then having the maximum amount of rollout it can possibly have. The best players in the world do this exceptionally well. If you think about someone like a Rory McIlroy, how he launches the ball super high with not much spin and gets an amazing amount of carry distance. And this is something that I bang on about a lot because I struggle to control my backspin with a driver. However, I've been using that new M5. And I've been experimenting around with some of the settings, and it's by no means dialed into me and my swing just yet. However, on a few shots, I'm actually struggling to generate enough backspin. Now, hopefully that's not because my club speed's dropping and I'm turning into an old man, but I think it's just simply because driver design has moved so far along to actually increase the likelihood of getting less backspin when you strike it. Now, for that optimal launch condition of a nice high launch with no spin, that's amazing. However, I hate to break this to you, but a lot of you guys aren't quite able to get your swing in a position where you can optimize launch conditions. So hitting it from different places across the face, such as the heel and the toe, if you strike it out of those locations, or anywhere out of the center really, without having enough backspin, the ball's just going to dive out of the air and it's not going to go anywhere at all. Because I think a lot of people underestimate how much of a help backspin can be for them. If you're striking it from across the face, not from the center, then backspin can help you correct ball flights that could otherwise go astray if you have low backspin. I've seen so many players fiddle with their settings on the driver, and when it dives out the air and doesn't go anywhere, they're confused why. It's because there's not enough backspin being generated on the off-center strikes. And this is why club testing is so important, rather than just going to buy a low spinning driver and thinking that's going to give you more distance. On a perfect shot, it might do, but yeah, this is golf, guys. Nobody hits perfect shots all the time, especially with the driver. And it might be the case that even on the perfect shots, it might not go as far, but a higher spinning driver or a higher spinning setup might be better for you. But it's also about on-course testing as well, because at the end of the day, using a launch monitor, so like the quad that we have down at the academy or the flight scope, whatever it may be, you can hit a fantastic drive when the launch monitors are set into hitting into a void, when there's no atmospheric conditions, where there's no fairways, where there's no real pressure. But golf isn't played in simulators, it's played out on the golf course, and that's why testing in both environments is so important. And I know that's not an option for some people, there's no doubt about it, and that's why a lot of you guys come onto YouTube to find out that kind of information. But that is the warning that I will say. Always be wary of the low spinning drivers if you don't strike it consistently and you're not optimizing launch conditions. Get yourself fit. Make sure that it is going to be the right club for you. Because remember that one of the best drivers for a number of years was the SLDR from TaylorMade. But if you didn't hit it out of the middle, bam, you were struggling to keep it on the golf course and to keep it up in the air. And that is something that I'm seeing so much with modern drivers. So guys, let me know what you think. As always, like the video, share it around, and comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on my other social media channels, which are all linked in the description below. And I'll see you down here next time.